Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 9 of the Shed In podcast, proudly brought to you by some random kebab shop near Stanford.
Let me start the intro because you've just
I'm a bit
no
preoccupied.
one can hear you. But first of all, welcome to the Shed In podcast, episode 9. We have returned
After 120 minutes?
a lot later than what we thought we would have been back. I thought we would have been back, a lot earlier, especially with how the second half was going. But we're delighted to say that Perth Chaos Ball reigns supreme. It does not matter who the coach is. It's just the philosophy of the club. It's the DNA of the club. That looks like a good kebab.
It's a very good kebab.
Boys, I guess general thoughts, and then we'll sort of dissect the game from there. But what do we think? It's our first win in the Australia Cup or the FFA Cup, whatever you want to call it,
we beat
since
Brisbane.
2016.
We
No,
beat Brisbane.
but then that's a qualifier.
Yeah.
In the actual cup.
I think Fagani should never referee a match again.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
That
very
was
valid point.
absolutely diabolical. I
Can
know
someone
it's
dox him
Australia
again, please?
Cup. I understand it's Australia Cup. You didn't have VAR anyway in the A-League, but that was honestly like the amount of mistakes.
Piss poor.
Like
Piss
you'd
poor.
think City were paying the refs. Like
Yeah.
that, it was disgraceful. Like it wasn't even funny. Like it was a joke.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's you literally took all the words straight out of my mouth. I was trying to think of something else to say to go along with that, but yeah, you nailed it.
I think for me the issue was that he got the flow of the game wrong.
Yep.
I think he let some calls go that he shouldn't have, and then he made calls that he shouldn't have. I just think that he just didn't referee the game as well as he could have, and I think it was it's probably the only bad part of the game, so to speak. I mean, there are probably some other areas as well, but I think when we were heading into the game, knowing that Melbourne City hadn't played any sort of pre-season games to that point.
Yeah.
What was your pre-game thoughts heading into the game? What did you guys think leading into it? What did you think about City in particular, because they have lost quite a lot of players?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was cautious.
Yeah.
And the main reason being is I didn't know till quite early before the game whether they were going to have Lecky or Ugarkovic. Didn't have either, thankfully. Ben Matseo also missing, thankfully. Tilio not starting, once again, thankfully. But they still caused us plenty of problems with what was relatively a weak side for them. Which, to be fair, we weren't exactly playing our strongest 11. But
No.
in a sense, it is a sign that maybe things aren't all entirely there just yet.
Yeah.
But very promising signs, despite them missing some key players, obviously.
I mean, I'd say on paper, like it was a pretty on paper,
Yep.
even, like on both teams.
Yeah, even. Yeah, I agree.
Squad wise,
Yeah.
because obviously they were missing a fair amount of senior players, but they had a good mix between senior and young, and we had a good mix between senior and young. But obviously we knew they were going to be fit because they'd been training for a while, but I think the real difference was we were match fit and they weren't.
Yeah. I think that was the point for us when we were going into the game, where it was like, if it was going to go to extra time, the fact that we had the 2 games leading into it, one against obviously NPL opposition, but the other being against A-League opposition, and we did so in Darwin where the conditions had been very tough for the players. I think our conditioning showed as the game went on. I guess we may as well start with the lineups. What did you guys think of the lineups going into the game? I think Zrella only made the one change with, I think it was Quire off to the bench, and then it was our mate Zach. He came in at left back. So what did you guys think of the team pre-game?
I thought putting Zach in was a really good change,
Yep.
and that was proven to be true. He had an amazing game.
He
was
cracking.
fantastic.
He was fantastic.
I really do want to see him at centre back instead of left back, because I feel like he's a much more natural central defender. But man, what a signing! If he plays like this at the age he's playing at 2, you would have thought this is. I'm trying to give a player to compare him to that I've seen. Like, he has the level-headedness, although he wasn't always level-headed, of Dino Djulbic. a prime Dino Djubic. He's he's the tackles, the blocks. He throws himself for the ball.
He reminds me a lot of Dan Burn.
I mean, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're right. As I want to see him play centre back, but it's handy that he can play that well
Absolutely.
as a
Yeah,
left back.
fantastic,
Because
yeah.
if Hamzawi or Wallen gets injured, we know that we've got a good backup.
Yeah. No,
I think
absolutely.
what I'm going to do first of all, guys, is we've been in contact with, well, Zach's dad has been in contact with us. So forgive me if I say the name wrong. I think it's Familiar. He's given us a bit of a help in terms of pronouncing.
Wait, that's his name.
Yeah, in terms of
I
pronouncing.
thought familiar was just a word for family, bro.
No.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Don't believe so. I think it's his name.
Oh.
Well, I could be wrong. Can correct us if it's not. But in terms of pronouncing his name as well. But what was interesting reading some of the messages was that Zach's journey was pretty interesting in terms of his development as a young footballer at the time. Basically, he said that he was basically a striker all of his life. Wow. And then at 15, he was scouted by Arthur Papas, who travelled to Melbourne to see him when he left his state club as the top goal scorer in the league. When he went to Newcastle, obviously he was 15. Arthur thought, you know what, I'm going to chuck him as a left centre back or as a left back, but we can always throw him as a striker if need be. And then when Papas left, John Aloisi jumped at the opportunity and brought him back to Melbourne at 17 and converted him into a full-time centre-back. And I think for me, when we were seeing how he played in that game, I can't remember many times when Andrew Nabut or whoever was on that side got the better of Zach. I love the way in which he attacked the ball. I love the way in which he... when he went in for his challenges, he was very assertive in a way that, let's say, Josh Risdon is.
He just looks so experienced.
He does.
You wouldn't
So
think
yeah.
you wouldn't look at him and for 1 second go, he's 18. He just looks so experienced and comfortable, and especially against these senior players, he just looks so composed.
His match sense in terms of his IQ is incredible as well for a young player.
Do you remember that time? I think it was in the first half where he came charging from centre back and literally flew at the ball to try and head it and deal with it.
Yeah,
I was like, shit, but he did a great job to win it.
Another touch on his IQ as well is, especially since only playing centre back for 3 years, to be playing at the level that he does now
and to do it somewhat at a really good level as well
is absolutely
start.
insane. He's a natural footballer, in every degree.
Yeah, 100%.
Holy shit, man! What a performance!
I think we may as well touch on the goals or the landmark moments of the game to start with. And obviously, I'm sure there would have been people that were getting drinks or getting their food or whatever. And Abdul Faisal scored within the first 2 minutes. And
I was getting my chips and gravy.
Chippies.
Yeah, but hey, Abdul Faisal, we spoke about it briefly on the previous podcast, but the guy's a freak.
Yeah.
And he's someone that looked really exciting in that game in particular. And look, I think we can have a bit of a giggle at the effort from the goalkeeper, giving up his near side that easily. But that goal from Faisal, when you think about it, it was the product of a really good start from the boys. And I think we sort of expected it, having that bit of match fitness, that we were going to hit the ground running. And instead of fart-arsing around like we sort of did against Brisbane, where we didn't convert our chances early on, to see that Faisal was able to get on the ball and get on the board early, it was a really big moment. And, I'm really happy for him. He's doing really well.
Getting him tied on a long-term deal after this year is going to be absolutely massive for the future of the
It's going to
club.
be critical.
Because he can command a very big fee.
If he doesn't go to Europe.
If he does, but I'm hoping that we'll have enough sense as a club to tie him down to a long-term deal mid-season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give him a 2-3 year extension, because I promise you he will be gone by the end of the year.
Do you think we'll start, obviously Catania are playing in Serie C. Do you think there's a chance we could loan him to Catania?
Oh,
Can I just say, I'm so proud that you actually said Serie C instead of
Serie C.
Serie C.
That's such great growth. I'm so proud of you. Josh.
I tried.
He gave it a red on crack.
Serie C.
Cazzo. Whoop.
Mannaggia. But that deal with Catania is going to be an interesting one, because especially because I remember when we were looking at foreign centre-backs, and then there was one Catania player who was coming off contract, and since then he's re-signed with Catania on a new contract. But it's really interesting to think about what that potential partnership is going to actually mean, whether that's just a way for us to have more, I guess, scouting networks and stuff like that, or if we are going to really see people going back and forth between the clubs. It's going to be an interesting one. And there's definitely players from Perth that we could see going to Catania in terms of maybe if they get promoted to Serie B or anything like that.
As a bit of it, just to cut you off, sorry, what if Zach can, sorry, not Zach, Abdul can continue at the rate that he has been in the first few preseason games, what should be his level if he does leave us, let's say, at the end of this season? What would be a good move for him?
Well, I think you got to judge it off of players that are, I guess, are of a similar level to him.
Yep.
I mean, look, if Sammy Silveira can go off of that season he had at the Mariners after a failed move in Portugal
To Middlesbrough
straight away, I think Abdul Faisal at least League One, at least.
No,
but I honestly, look, England's the dream move for any young player,
100%.
obviously, because you want to play Premier League football, you want to be a part of,
the biggest league in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I honestly really wouldn't mind, especially if Catania can get promoted to Serie B, if we do see Faisal or maybe even Lijalajski, some of those guys looking to go over to Serie B, play in Italy, or get experience out in places like the Netherlands or Belgium or any of these other places.
Yeah.
The USA becoming
see,
a massive market for Australian talent as well.
I'm fine with these players going to a lower level because they need to adjust to the sort of European style of play,
100%.
right? Because they've got time. They're 18.
Yeah.
It's a difference if you're like Aaron Moore, you're 25, you want to go straight to the top. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
It's very rare you can actually do that.
Yeah.
I think if I had to pick any league for him to go to, first thing that comes to mind is the Bundesliga second division.
Oh, that's a good shout.
I think there are so many young players who come from that league all around the world, and it's either they go to a top league from there, or they go to another Bundesliga team and then go from there. There's so many young players, and I reckon he would be a good fit for there because it's a very quick league in the Bundesliga, and he's got the pace to fit that system. So.
Austria and Norway becoming very important leagues as well.
100%.
Sweden, very important.
I think speaking on Abdul as well, I was disappointed that we, especially as the game went on, we didn't use him enough. I think we should have looked to have got him into space as much as we can and get him to try and attack his opponent, because I just think that after we got that first goal, we looked decent for the first 5 minutes, obviously.
Yep.
Then the rest of the first half, I don't know what happened.
I was at a loss for words. It felt very much like last season.
It felt very much like last season, and City, they probably got that shock pretty early on, but then they got back into the game.
And that's fair play to them, by the way. They figured out our press, and I figured out what we were doing pretty quickly, and they adapted, and they scored off just before half time. I just fair enough to them, like that they managed to figure out, and obviously we did do a bit better in the second half, sort of. But I wasn't actually expecting. I was pretty confident once we scored. I thought, okay, we'll keep playing like this and we'll win.
Yeah.
City adapting and managing to actually get back into the game and dominate possession. It did surprise me. I didn't expect that for a first hit out from them.
What did you boys think about our press today? I think, considering what it had been in that Brisbane game, I think we were just a fraction off.
It was a bit disappointing.
I think it was a fraction off from what it could be.
Yeah.
I think we were a little bit too reactive, and I think David and Andres and his assistant Tommy, when they go back and analyse the game, I think that might be possibly a conclusion that they come up with, because I think, look, obviously City, we know they're a team that can pass the ball extremely well, and they've been coached by some very good coaches, and they've got some really good technical players. But I just think with our press, we just didn't coordinate it as well as we could have, and like you said, City found some answers to beat it, and that's credit to them, and they obviously got their equaliser. I think it was around about 30th minute.
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
I was convinced, boys. I know there was no VAR or whatever. I was convinced that old mate uses his arm to control the ball.
It did look like it obviously we were on the other side of the pitch.
It
but
did look like it, but I feel like the players would have been yelling. Because it was right in front of Risdon.
Yeah, Risdon would have. Risdon would not have had that if it was handball. He would have been all over
as
it.
bad as the refereeing was, I have a little bit of leniency when it comes to Australia Cup. Like, let's be real, we kind of robbed Brisbane Roar last week of a penalty.
That is true.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
I will also say, in regards to not being able to get Faisal the ball as much, to be fair, they shut Faisal out of that game from the start of the second half. Talbot and Naboo were so tight on him down that left-hand side, double teaming. In regards to the press as well, I feel like the shift to a 4-2-2 in the second half was a good idea.
Tennis ball really worked.
But it was a good idea at the start, but then we really started to get beaten by the press because our attacking mids were really wide, and it left that gap for their double pivot there. Schreiber was just, he had a phenomenal game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Can we talk about
once we did switch back to that 4-2-3-1, especially with Bagaria in the 10,
we looked a lot more.
We looked so much more fluent. The press was better.
Yeah.
We were able to actually plug those gaps in the midfield as well, organise the press so much better. It was really good.
Yeah, because that's the thing as well. Like, just quickly, their equalising goal. Obviously, I was bitching about whether it was a handball or not, but I just think we switched off there, boys. I think we still haven't eradicated our defensive habits that weren't just present last season but have been there for years.
Yeah.
Our attention to detail from a defensive perspective, if we want to go, let's say, finals is an achievable goal next season, but let's say we want to go deep into finals.
Yeah.
Our defensive organisation has got to improve. But I think we definitely got better as the game went on, and again, I think that's a testament to the fact that we had that match fitness as well.
I think that the main difference from us making finals or not is a solid senior centre back.
Yeah,
I agree.
Look, with all due respect, our centre back pairing, Lockie Barr, who last season made 3 appearances for Adelaide United, and Caleb Majeka-Dumbi, who, while promising and a great talent who I'm sure is going to have a massive impact for the Socceroos at some point, is still only a teenager.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think before it seems like a pile on Lockie Barr. Yeah, it's not.
No,
he just
not.
Because it's early. It's early in the preseason, and we're not expecting everyone to be fully match fit. And like you said, it's a good point because he only played like barely any games last season under Cal Viet, which baffled a lot of Adelaide fans. I know that for a fact. So, look, he's a good defender on his day, but I think he lost Caputo for the first goal, and then was it the second or the third one where he went for a swing and
just
big swing, no ding.
It's just like a schoolboy kind of mistake that from a senior player. I'd be a little bit more harsh towards, because it's like you need to set an example for someone like Kalen or for Zach. If you're losing a bit of discipline or whatever, there it was just a bit rash and reckless. Not much that obviously Ollie Sal could do for the 2 rockets that fucking
the deflections.
Nothing.
I will also say, I do in pre-season look more towards how a team defends rather than how they attack.
Yeah.
Because any good team with individual talent forward will score goals in a pre-season, obviously.
Correct.
But for a new team like ours, when we've got an entirely new defense, Josh Risdon just coming back in, Lizalewski playing out of his natural position, having a phenomenal game, but also a new centre-back pairing as well. It's really telling with how we're able to defend sort of what we have to build on, because it's all relatively new. Yeah. And look, as much as people are going to say, oh, well, we conceded 4, it's absolute shit. First goal arguably could have been a handball. Third goal was a horror mistake. From Lockie Barr that will probably never happen again.
No.
And the other 2 goals were massive deflections that would have been saved by Ollie Sale if they weren't deflected.
But they were crackers as well.
Like they were
crackers.
One of
the deflections literally went top right.
Unsavable. It was. And the other one was Ollie Sale had committed to his left because the shot was going left, and it went deflected and went into the
Who was the dude that got the left foot one? Not Naboo, the other one. The
Schreiber.
Yeah, Schreiber. Phenomenal. I don't know about you. He might have been going in anyway.
No.
I
had a really good angle of it.
Yeah?
I had a really good angle of it. It was curving sort of back in like that.
Right.
Sale, I reckon, would have got his palms to it, but then it deflected back out and then came back in off the post.
He nearly got that, to be fair, Sale. He did,
but that's all the more reason why I think he would have saved it if he didn't deflect.
When I was out of curiosity, because we just talked about centre back pairings and stuff, and what needs to improve. When was the last time you guys personally looked at our centre back pairings and thought, yeah, I'm happy with that. Like,
Under
yeah,
Popper.
Yeah,
Popovich,
I instantly think Lowry Grant. Like for me,
Lowry Grant, Murchula, or
Yeah.
Grant, Vutric, and Murchula.
Grant's always in there.
Vutric, bro.
Honestly,
Yeah, Big Greg.
I'm very keen with the centre backs we have now. Especially, however,
Yeah.
I think if we had one senior centre back, you could have Barr and the senior centre back starting for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fighting for that starting position.
Yeah.
And then Majex and Josh fighting for
There
that.
needs to be more competition.
Well,
for
look
the
at
positions.
who Western Sydney's.
Zach. Fuck. Zach.
Yeah. Look at who Western Sydney signed today. They signed the dude that was bought by John Book for, I think it was 1 million euros. Has got Asian Champions League experience, a lot of experience in Korea.
signing.
You know, that's the kind of signing that, assuming we have a bit of coin left in the transfer kitty, we've got to be making. And it'll go a long way to giving us a chance of making the finals, or if we don't, because I think centre back is still our weakest area.
Yeah.
I think in terms of fullback, I think, you know, we can make do with what we have. Midfield, look, I'm glad that we've got so much depth.
Yeah.
Because especially
Where is Pennington and Amini?
Not sure.
Well,
I don't.
Amini would probably
I'm
still be
baffled that-
recovering from injury. And
No, but
Pennington-
he was on the radio. He was supposed to be as fit as he's ever been. He's fully fit, apparently. Isn't that right or something? Or am I?
I think
he
we
might
best-
still be rehabbing, I think.
Yeah, they'd be taking their time with it, because I seriously doubt that they'd want to push him before he's ready, especially because the season won't start for another 2 months at minimum.
Yeah,
Well,
kind of-
or-
well,
I mean,
or-
Pennington.
October.
What's the deal with him? You'd think.
I just think they're giving him his time.
And I'm sure
Yeah.
Hamzal, he must be close as well.
Yeah, he
100%.
hasn't played in like a year and a half, but from what
But
we've heard, he's
that's-
incredibly physically capable.
but that's going to be really important for us as well, because it's like, could you imagine Hamzawi when he's fully fit making those runs for
Exactly.
Faisal? Because
Yeah.
Zach, I think, made some good runs, but I think you could tell that we were using Rizzo's side a lot more when we were
100%, yeah.
attacking.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
Zach obviously has his strengths and he's more of a defensive kind of player. But I think how we look, let's say at round one, fingers crossed we look a bit more of a cohesive and a sharper unit. The thing that really impressed me the most as a general thought from the game was the way in which the boys rallied after being 4-2 down.
100%.
They could have very easily gone, fuck, here we go. You know, we've conceded 4 again to Melbourne City. You know, double that. That's what happened last time we played them. But you know when you hear character and all those sorts of buzzwords, but it was actually great character from the boys.
Fantastic
It was actually
Young
superb.
core all took responsibility. Fuck Nathaniel Blair.
Dude.
Dude.
Wow.
My God.
Wow. Yeah, wow.
I honestly don't have enough words to describe how much I want to just. Thank you.
Thank you, Western Sydney Wanderers. Thank you, Western Sydney Wanderers.
Thank you,
Shout
Western
out.
You idiots.
Sha-la-la-la-la-la.
You
Fuck off, Western
morons.
Sydney scum, ole ole.
You're
Thank you for Bugarija, who scored the equalising goal in
Looping
the 88th
header.
minute.
Yeah.
Beautiful header from him. And
Just quick-
Nathaniel Blair, who not only scored the third goal to get us back
Yeah.
into the tie, but also the winning goal as well.
But
So
just,
thank you,
just
Western
quickly
Sydney.
as well, like for me, the game sort of changed a little bit once Bugarija came on as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
Because I
100%.
was saying, obviously,
Yeah, you were
boys
calling
I was,
for it.
I was screaming
Yeah.
for the fact that shit, we need a number 10 that
Yeah.
can. Like, not saying that Taras was doing a bad job, far from it, because he
No. Taras had
he had a phenomenal
My
game.
God.
4 assists.
4 assists is crazy.
4
Yeah.
assists from a CDM.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And thank you, Brisbane.
Thank you, Brisbane.
But
Enjoy Zimmerina.
on Bugarija, yeah. Love you, Zimmer. But on Bugarija, or as the stadium announcer said, Bugaria.
Boogeria.
Yeah, so there's another complaint for us about the match day experience. But he came on and just looked really silky. Some of his touches was really good. I still think he's going to be like prototype kind of player, same as Nathaniel Blair. But those two boys in particular in that second part of the game were massive for us getting back into the game.
Did you see that tweet before the game today where someone was like, "Oh, why a Glory? Why?" It was like, "Oh, how does Taras Gamulka start for this Glory side when he's had like 1 goal and assist in 6,
as a number 10
A-League
because
seasons.
he's really good.
Yeah, how is Gamulka
number 10?
a number 10 when he's had 1 goal involvement in 6 A-League seasons just to get 4 assists against Melbourne City?
Yeah, it's well,
Peak A-League.
well,
Peak A-League.
well, but Taras, in my opinion, and maybe a commonly held view, but I believe he's better as in a double pivot.
Yeah,
a bit deeper.
100%.
He's doing a proper job as a number 10, but I think once he got a bit deeper, him and O'Neill, I think they worked off with each other pretty well.
Yeah.
And fair play to Taras. He 4 assists. You can say it's a pre-season game. Yeah, it's
we got
early.
3 goals from set pieces today.
I know it's a pre-season game, but you're playing against quality opposition. It's
100%.
different when you're playing against like Macedonia.
Yeah.
Well, Australia, Macedonia, yeah. But
No offense.
yeah.
But I'll just make one more point. We got 3 goals off of corners today. I can't remember the last time that I saw Glory getting a corner and genuinely thinking every time, holy shit, we might actually get
under
one.
Kenny.
We might actually get
Yeah.
one.
Ironically,
Kenny.
after the game, I thought David Zrulich was Kenny Lowe in disguise because the game actually felt like one of those old school
nostalgia.
Kenny games.
100%.
Slumdog's Millionaires are here.
Yeah.
Credit John for that.
Credit
that was
John.
very good for that.
Huge from you, mate.
But it dead set was like a nostalgia watch, like
Yeah,
one of
100%.
those old school Kenny games, and
You just
One,
feel good
one that
about
you see on
yourself
like the
afterwards.
A-League YouTube channel where it's just like A-League classic matches.
Yeah.
and then you cry because it's like
Oh,
shit. That's
what
when
a-
we
On this
were.
day 10 years ago.
On this day 10 years ago, Glory
And
fucking cooked.
I want to bring up something I said last podcast about managers in the A League and all that kind of stuff. Zrilla made changes. He made changes to tactics.
Yep.
He made
changed
subs according
formation
to
3 times today.
and that is exactly what I call for in a manager who's willing to change his system based on how the game is going. If you have multiple backup plans when things aren't going your way, you will be successful. And that's what he did today. He changed things until it worked.
If this is Stag, we
Yeah.
lose that game as soon as it goes 4-2. As soon as it goes 4-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he won't change.
Exactly.
100%.
Well, Stadge might have gotten something from it from the perspective of making the subs because Stadge did get his subs mostly right.
Correct, yeah.
But Stadge wouldn't have made, let's say, the tactical tweaks to
You can make as
adjust.
many subs correctly as you can, but if you don't change the fucking system when the system isn't working, then what's the point of making the subs?
But here's
Yeah.
the thing as well for me is that the 3 boys that came on, so Tags, Bagaraja, and Blair,
Yeah.
all made an impact.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, you knew Tags would, no matter what happened. You knew Tags was going to do something.
Yeah.
And
he
that
looked really for me. We could see him warming up, and he had that look in his face
Yeah, you
where
knew
he
he
was
was getting
really
one.
determined.
Yeah.
And
you
that's
called him fat.
no, no.
I'm joking.
No, I just felt that look, for a first hit out back, it was decent.
You
Of
can
course-
tell he takes care of his body. Like,
well,
he keeps
yeah,
himself
because
fit.
he still kept pressing late on in the game, and I think for me, what's going to be good is when Tags gets to that sharp level that he was at round 1 last season, where he took off and did not look back.
Yeah.
He still kept pressing, which was excellent, and that finish as well, where he was inside the box and
What
he
a finish.
Well, it was good.
Great finish. Yeah.
He's not finished. He's only 30.
Yeah.
31.
Well, I was obviously disappointed with the volley though. With the volley though, Alex, when he the crossing. Remember? And he hit it on the crossbar.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see when Miliusnik is fully fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you've got
Yeah.
him and Faisal on the wings.
Yep.
Pace abuse.
100%.
Pace abuse.
100%.
I honestly don't think it'll be him, and I think it'll be Miliusnic up top with Tags.
Oh, really?
No.
If we do end up going, no, here's the thing.
Nah. Sorry.
You're wrong.
We'll have dork. We'll have 2 different systems, right? One of which is, I agree, when you have Miliusnic and Faisal opposite wings.
Yeah.
But if we do have a situation where we do want to go for that 2 up top, Miliusnic and Tags just
Oh, they
What about
that just
what about Blair?
screams hypo
What
press.
about Blair?
You can throw Blair in there as well, but I reckon those games where you're chasing, you need the pace for the high
So
press.
there's the penis ball, and then there's the actual 4-2.
Penis ball,
yeah.
and then there's actual RB laps.
I think here's the thing: we're going to see so many different variations of where these players are going
I'm
to play, which
so
is great.
excited for
Yeah,
it,
we're
though.
going to have so many different ideas.
I think
of
the
where-
depth we got is really important, especially considering we've got 4 games in like 11 days in
which is
January.
stupid.
Yeah.
Very
No, but the
Yeah.
thing is, we've still got a long preseason ahead of us. The league doesn't start for another 2.5 months. We've got
Yeah.
the Australia Cup we've got games to fly through in the Australia Cup. We've got a big
Yeah.
pre-season planned. I'm
Yeah.
sure we're going to be playing against the state team. We've got the annual trip down to Bunbury.
Yeah.
We've got
Albany, I think, as well.
Albany as well.
Yeah.
And also we've got that Stan Lazaridis mentioning an overseas tour possibility.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I
We've got at
believe
least 5, 6, 7 games.
this
to go.
this is just a rumor, but I did hear that because the tour was always a maybe. It was Asia, India,
So that sort of area.
Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But that was if we got knocked out, then that was what we we're going to do to sort of get games. But
Right.
now that we're continuing on in the Australia Cup, I don't think we might do 1 or 2 international games. But
Yeah.
But this
I
is
don't
the
think
best
we'll do a tour.
pre-season prep for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To be honest.
100%. We're playing against opponents that we will be playing in the
Yeah,
semis,
exactly.
So.
Speaking of the cup, even though we've been speaking about it the whole episode. Um,
Oh yeah, the cup.
Oh,
wow,
the Champions League.
At
Yeah.
what point do you see us playing at HBF Park? Semi-finals or just the final?
Semi-finals.
Semi.
Semis.
Well, if we get the home draw for the semis, probably the
Yeah.
semis.
Yeah.
Because that's what we did, I think.
Actually, it depends on who our quarterfinal opponents are.
Please be NPL.
Well,
I just-
round of 16, we got obviously
Yeah.
we still have someone.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
it's
shit,
not
yeah.
quarterfinals, yeah, round of
forgot that
16.
wasn't
Yeah,
round of
yeah,
16.
yeah.
Yeah, round of 16. So
I'd love a Perth Newcastle final.
what for?
We would.
for our mate-
I
our mate
will be
Vandy?
there. Yeah.
Well, I think credit to the boys for the fact that we didn't do what we normally do and go, fuck this
Again.
Yeah.
Because we didn't.
Because that was
Yeah.
again first win in the cup in 8 years.
Yep.
And you could really see what it meant to the boys at full time.
And the fans.
And the
Absolutely.
fans.
And the fans.
The scenes at full time was excellent. For those that didn't go to the game, Lazaridis was like the cheerleader.
He pointed at me. I said, I love you, Stan. Yeah, he pointed at me and said like that. I said, I love you, Stan. I love you,
He
Stan.
was doing one. He was doing this. Was it? Yeah, you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm signing you next.
I was just pointing at you and going, dork.
But it was, but
You're poor.
you know but you know what I love though. I love
You drink sparkling water.
but I love the impact though that Stan is having at the club.
Yeah.
I think when you hear what the players are saying about how the culture is at the moment and how Stan is shouting the boys Chinese, post training. I mean, like
It's just good vibes.
He
Isn't
may
it?
be the world's craziest, most delusional hype man, but
he is a legend.
bro is
He's
restoring
great.
the feeling.
He's
Bro,
right?
so he signs the players. He's the physio. He gets you Chinese, and he'll hype you up at the end of the game.
everything.
He does everything. So when Ross and him were talking about WoW signings, he is literally a WoW
He is-
signing.
he is the WoW signing,
He's
yeah.
like that one dad of your football team who just does fucking everything, and everyone's just
yeah.
like, bro, just sit back, let people do
He's
their
like-
shit. He's
he's
like,
like,
nah,
nah,
let me give you some help there, mate. Yeah.
But in this
Like,
situation,
bro.
it's very likable. Like everyone likes that he's doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
This
Yeah.
is not annoying. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I'm loving it.
But it's
it's the greatest shit I've ever seen, bro.
I think just on the game, we certainly looked for me a lot better in that extra time period. And I'll point back to the fact that we've had that conditioning. I think our conditioning was an issue that we spoke about at length on this podcast, and especially in the earlier episodes where, even Josh and in particular, the earlier parts of last season, we were saying, geez, I don't really think the boys look fit.
Yeah.
And look, we could
We look fitter now than we did
because
peak
we look
last
fitter now.
season.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
We could be chatting absolute bullshit as far as we know, but we didn't look as fit as we
What do you
probably.
mean? We know what we're talking about.
Well, but we didn't look as fit as we probably should have been. But when you look at us now, the fact that we were able to run out the game very strongly and just kept going and just pounding
And
on the door.
you could
that's
tell
it.
that the fitness thing was a club thing because the more experienced players who knew how to keep themselves fit, like Tags, Dave and stuff, were the fit ones in the team, but the younger boys were the unfit ones, which...
that is true.
That's a club thing in my
Well,
opinion.
Dave, I think did an interview recently where he heralded the impact of David Sessions, where by design, because of the way in which the Red Bull philosophy is, it's very intense.
The Red Bull philosophy.
Well, the Red Bull philosophy, whatever, penis ball philosophy, whatever you want to call it, it needs you to be
Everyone
fit.
drinks Red Bull before the
It
game.
needs you to be fit, and it sort of makes you by default fitter because of the
Yeah.
intensity at which you need to play.
Because you have to be. And if you don't, you'll get found out.
We should sign Jamie Vardy as a market.
Hey, we should,
Mate,
shouldn't we?
oh, do you know how much I'd give for Jamie Vardy to come to the
that would
A-League?
be fucking. Could you imagine
Dude.
Jamie Vardy and
Just
Adam
down to
Taggart
Red
strike
Bull.
button?
Oh my god! If genuinely, that's if
A diet of
every
nothing
year
but
that Jamie,
Zambreros and Red Bull.
And vapes.
Oh.
every year that Jamie's here
Vapes
is a
and
treble.
vibes.
If Jamie comes to the Glory with Taggart, I kid you not, because Jamie would fit this system to a T.
Yeah.
This would be his club, and Taggart would get goals for fun. All these from off tap-ins, off just goal poaching off Vardy. I kid you not. I genuinely, I know I'm
It's
very
not
passionate
gonna
about it.
happen,
I,
Kev.
I,
It's
I'm sorry. I absolutely love Vardy. He's one of my favourite players of all
yeah.
time. I love him to bits. So the thought of him even coming to
doesn't know you,
Australia,
bro.
letting at the Glory,
Yeah.
it excites me.
Yeah.
And he totally would to it, dude, because he's like, oh, I'm going to Australia for a holiday. Like, yeah.
What else? Oh yeah, massive shout out to Doggy Colucci and Brandon O'Neill, especially Doggy. After the game, my brother, who practices barbering, went up and asked if he could cut Doggy's hair, and not only did Doggy say yes, sure, but he also took a selfie with him and followed my younger brother
What an
on
absolute
Instagram.
legend.
And I'd also
Thank you for that, brother.
What a
You
goat.
made my brother's night. So thank you,
I
Doggy.
would also like to shout out Luke Bodnar for following the podcast.
Luke Bodnar, Perth Glory player, to follow the podcast. Luke Bodnar, thank you very much, good
Luke,
sir.
so
There's room for you here, Luke.
Episode 10, question mark?
I can get a
Special
fifth
episode.
chair.
We are-
I can get a
hyping that
fifth chair if you need, Luke. we can make some space.
We may as well let our viewers know that we have had conversations about wanting to get Luke on.
We need to do a crossbar challenge.
We
with
will
Luke.
we will update you guys if we get the okay. But I think as a more general point, I really
Please,
do
Luke.
feel like a good connection with the players. at this
Yeah,
moment.
100%.
Like if we're talking about the likability of the squad and the team, it's up there.
This
And-
is
They don't
pretty
like
low
Josh though
vibes.
for some reason.
hey.
No, I'm joking.
This is what's
Oh,
that?
I'm going to stomp on that Alex guy's head.
Hey.
Oh,
We're gonna say.
Well, I was going to say,
that a
what was the season where it was the season after? You remember that game where Danny De Silva scored that rocket against, was it the Phoenix or the Mariners? Mariners, yeah.
you mean
Did
round 3
that-
of this season? Question mark.
He hasn't signed for anyone yet.
Great.
Keep going.
No, in terms of likability, I haven't felt as connected to a lot of these players, and I just see the passion, especially with my personal man of the match of the game, Risdon. Like his passion for the club, and showed again tonight. He nearly played full. Did he play the whole game?
Whole game.
Yeah.
Whole game.
Whole
And
game.
I was amazed that he managed to and he gave everything he could up until the final whistle.
At 32 as
How
well,
many?
yeah,
How
like
many of
the way
those
he
rundown
was.
tackles did the boys do?
So many.
as well
So
today.
many.
Like as in like someone's running and then it'd be O'Neill or Risdon bang. Get the
Yeah.
ball,
Do you
and
remember
then we're
last season, that one game? I forgot which one exactly it was, but when Taggart and Kolakovsky were just pressing the shit out of these players in the corner,
Yeah.
and the entirety of the Bay was just going absolutely mental.
Collie was pressing as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, that Brisbane one.
That just felt like that, but just for 120 minutes straight.
Yeah.
The absolute,
Yes.
the passion,
Yeah.
the energy, just the effort was just absolutely phenomenal.
I'm really glad they fit in well.
And that's like what we want as fans from the players. Because look, hey, we don't expect you guys to win every single game. We don't expect you guys to play 10 out of 10 every single game.
Yeah.
And look like the best team in the comp. But we expect the effort to always be at 110%.
Yeah.
And that's something that Dave said in his pre-game interview, where he was like, we're basically going to give every game a red hot crack. And let's see it. Because if they can put in efforts like they did today, where is that never say die kind of attitude, and we're going to attack till the cows come home. It could go a long way for us in terms of us potentially making a return to the finals for the first time since the 1920 season. But
I think it's
Yeah.
since the
I did.
1920s.
Sorry to cut in. I did want to add back to the survey I put out. A popular thing that people liked was transfer rumors. Have we got anything we can say?
transfer rumours, last I heard...
I did ask Federico Chiesa if he was coming to the club, but he hasn't quite responded to my Instagram DM just yet. That's an inside scoop for all of you.
Last we heard about the centre back situation. What we understand is that the club is looking to sign a centre back. Announcing, don't know. Last I heard, could be South American.
It's a lot of conflicting reports because we heard Italian, then we heard
Asian,
then we heard Belgian.
Yeah.
No, it was
Then I heard
it was Italian,
it was
Belgian,
Italian,
Asian, South American.
South
No,
American.
and then
American.
Portuguese was in between Asian.
Oh, really?
I heard
Portuguese?
rumors
Yeah.
of Portuguese,
Oh.
and then now it's South American.
I didn't know.
It's like the whole.
So it looks
it's like the
like-
whole world.
It just looks like we've had a lot of top tier options lined up that just haven't quite worked, and we're just covering all of our.
But we should be ending up with a centre back.
We should be.
We should-
If we don't end this global tour of scouting with a centre back, I'll be quite surprised.
No,
If we can
Another
land someone
possible-
like the quality of the bloke that Western Sydney just signed, I'd be more than
Even
that.
if it's on
Yeah.
loan,
Yeah.
I'd take it.
Now, after all this, we're going to go through all this drama, and at the end of the day, it's going to be welcome back, Michael Thwaite. That's what's going to. Yeah,
I'll take
Thwaitey.
I'd rather.
And
George
welcome
Itch,
back
but-
to
Yeah,
the glory,
for the
Tarek
fifth time.
Elrich.
I love
Way.
Tarek Elrich.
Yeah. but that's the thing though. Like a centre back is probably the only missing piece of the puzzle at this
Yeah.
point. Because I think if we're talking about depth across the whole front line, I think we're covered. Midfield, I think we're covered. Fullbacks, like I said, I think we're decent. I think centre back is probably the only area where we could do with a fair bit of improvement. And if we can get that, we'll be in good shape.
Improvement in the fact that we need some more, like someone, a senior,
Just experience.
Yeah.
just experience.
Like
We need it.
like that Marcelo type, because
Yeah.
we've banged on about it, but it's about having a player that's got that European or
Preferably
South
a left
American.
footer as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
Yeah.
'Cause could you guys tell? I mean, when Barr was playing today, that he didn't look as comfortable playing on the left hand side.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's just a given anyway. But like, look, even if we're bringing in someone purely just to mentor Lizalaski into being a top tier left back,
Yeah.
you need someone who he can relate
Mate, the
to.
scenes.
You
if
need
we
someone of a
signed
similar build.
37-year-old Marcelo.
No, but like in all seriousness, you need someone with a similar build, preferably a left footer as well, who can really just like mold Zach into a perfect left footed centre back
What's
for us.
What's Granty's situation? Alex Grant. Where's
He's
he
in
these
China.
days?
Injured.
Oh.
But maybe fingers crossed one day.
Yeah, because he's class.
It was
He's
only
definitely
a
come
1 year
back.
deal though, no? Or is it?
It is, yeah. It was a 1 year,
I think
pretty
it
sure.
expires
Was it
next year in December.
I was
right,
at
is it?
Taco Bell when I heard about it.
Next year.
Because I knew he signed somewhere else. I just didn't know where he was. I knew it wasn't long though.
When I first heard that, we were banging on about, how sick would it be if we had Grant and Sainsbury's, our centre back pairing, and then
Yeah.
you're like, I
Yeah.
think he's off to China. I'm like, nah, he wouldn't do that. And then I was at
And
Taco
then,
Bell,
yep.
and then I saw, Alex Grant confirmed to be going to China.
Look, Alex, imagine if we had Alex Grant in our back line today.
100%. Oh, dude. Like, that's everything we want is Alex Grant.
It would be. Oh,
Yeah.
he said the two words.
Title shard.
Shit.
Oh,
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for episode. No,
But it would just like if we could get Alex Grant, that would be elite. But it's obvious that we're looking at more of a foreign option.
Yeah, 100%.
And someone of that kind of profile would be just so massive for us. Because I mentioned Marcelo again because he was someone that went to Western Sydney with that European experience, and
Yeah.
someone like Damien De Silva or Miranda with Victory. You know, you could see those guys with that experience, just how much they helped the back line. Particularly for Victory, how they were so defensively, like, they're kind of stingy. You couldn't play and get, like, shitloads of goals against them. They were
Yeah.
very tough to play
Yeah.
against. And that's sort of what we need to be. Because, you know, you can't be going into, let's say, round 26, round 27, and you've got, you know, let's say, okay, 45, 46 goals scored, but plus 50 conceded.
Yeah.
Can't be having that.
the positive thing, though, at least, is that I can genuinely see situations within the next 1 or 2 years that are a lot of Perth boys that would probably be looking to come back home.
Yep.
Look, obviously, we have Sainsbury, who we thought was going to come in this season. The rumours have gone quite quiet at this point.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's not going to happen. But
Yeah.
I could see it happening still, maybe in a year or so. Jack Iredale would be one that I'd love to have back.
I'd love
Iredale
to get
would
him
be
next year.
Love to,
class.
would
Like,
love
as
to have
a
Jack Iredale
WA,
back.
I think, didn't he come through our academy as well?
Yeah, he's Perth.
Pretty sure.
Perth boy.
Is Granty Perth?
Grant,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Perth. I was going to say, yeah, he's an ideal
Yeah.
candidate for
Grant's a
that.
Perth boy. Gethin Jones, as much as he's a
Gethin.
Welshman, he is a
Yeah.
Perth boy.
He's an Aussie. He's a Perth boy, yeah.
But look, there's plenty of options. Even if we don't get Danny De Silva this year, possibly another option next year. Ryan Williams, you never know.
Josh and Novello.
Josh Novello would be a
Yeah.
fantastic pickup. But look, there's always options for us. WA is a massive talent pool, and as much as people fail to admit it, we have produced a lot of top quality players, and we're sort of lucky in the way that now we have smart owners that know what they're doing with their transfers. We have a strong core base, and we finally have a bit of coin to be able to go out and pursue these players.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with that, and the fact that we can genuinely look and say, no, we possibly can sign this guy who's been in League One Championship for a while. We possibly can do this and that and that. It's a sort of comfort and excitement that I never felt under Sage.
Yeah.
Just quickly with our squad composition, do you feel it is, and don't take this as like an overreactive kind of statement, do you feel it is the most balanced squad composition that we've had in years? What we've got right now in terms of the age range of the players that we have, where we've got players that are got a lot of potential
in the past 5 years, definitely.
Past 5 years, yeah.
Because like, if you think about it as well, sometimes under Kenny's squad as well, they'll lean more towards being quite old.
Just since Popper, I'd say Popper's Perth was the golden era. Of
it was, but
I genuinely don't even know if that will ever be touched again by another.
It will.
I think we can.
I hope it can, and I would love to see the day when it does. But that was genuinely.
Well, why not? Well,
that's up there with me. That's up there
records are made to be broken.
Look, that's up there with me with fucking Angers, Raw Salona, and Prime Sydney FC. Like that era of the glory was just.
But with us,
the 1 year.
Why not? Why not? Like, I'm not saying like win the league this season, but like as like a in the future with what we're building, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And this is. All good things have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And, you see it. What was Kenny's thing? If you want to, it was like, from a fan's perspective, if you want to get fans to come, you've got to start winning games, right?
Yeah, easy.
I just think our foundations that we're building this season, we can only go up, right? Yeah. So, and if we do well enough to a point where we score lots of goals, and if we just manage to get into finals or whatever, next season. Do you know how much of a radar we're going to have? Our radar size is going to be massive for players looking to join a team. With, our plan, our next 5-year plan with the amount of youth players that we have, our goals, our aspirations, our plans. Maybe a new training facility in Stirling, that kind of stuff. Like the amount of stuff that we're going for. I'm hoping later in the season, come next season, we're going to be such an appealing offer for so many young, talented players to come and say, "Hey, I'm going to Perth."
But not just on that level as well. Like. The game, the games as like a product, you would think fans would want to start coming back. Like, could you imagine if you were imagine if you were like a first time fan and you went to today's game?
Yeah, exactly.
There was quite a few first time.
No,
fans
I know a lot of people that this was their first time going to a Glory game.
It wouldn't be their last either.
Oh no, 100%.
No, not anymore. No, that was great.
Imagine if we can have a really deep run in the cup, and then by the time we get to round 2, is that our first home game?
Yeah, round 2.
Yeah.
Who do we play? Wellington or who was it?
Wellington, isn't it?
Hey, that'd be a blockbuster game.
It would.
That'd be a great game.
If we can market that one, imagine
if we can get some kind of a point or 3 points from MacArthur and with a good performance in that first game, and then come back home for our first home game with not a loss for our first game.
We can definitely do it.
We can definitely can.
Definitely do it.
I want to be, if we can have the cup run and we don't lose the first round, I would hope for 8,000 to 9,000 plus.
There's a lot of big teams knocked out of the cup now. No Melbourne City.
Chimmy FC.
Sydney FC. No Sydney.
No Sydney FC. No Melbourne City.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the rest of the A-League clubs are in right now, but they didn't put in the most convincing of performances.
No Western
Victory
either.
Relatively struggled. Western Sydney.
Victory haven't even played their game yet.
No.
I think they're next week.
Who was I thinking of then?
Western Sydney. Because they looked good for like the first 10 minutes.
Jets looked good against Western United, but obviously it's
Western
United.
I was going to say, I think most people would look good against Western.
Western were appalling. They were terrible.
I don't want to judge it too quickly.
In terms of a prediction, how far do you think we can go in the cup?
It honestly really depends.
I think we can
win
a lot. Honestly.
Depends on the draw.
Hey?
I think we can win the lot, but it depends on the draw.
Is it what's the word? Is it
probable
an achievable goal for this team that we can win it?
It's definitely achievable, but you have to get lucky with the
with the right draw.
Here's the thing.
Of course,
I think I'm happy to say that I think we can beat any team that's remaining in the competition. However, if we do somehow go on a thing where we draw the Jets and then we draw Victory and then we draw Western Sydney all on our way to the final, obviously it becomes a bit more complicated because you have to put in top tier performances against A-League sides that are progressively getting fitter and better and understanding their tactics and their systems more. But if we do pull like an NPL side here and there, of course it's beneficial to us. Of course, it's going to make it that little bit easier for us to progress to the final, and that's what I'm hoping for. Obviously, if we do pull something like an Olympic Kingsway, if they go through, obviously they're a tough side.
Yeah.
But it's something that we're capable of beating.
Do you think with the way that we play, guys, that we can beat? Again, don't want to put this like.
It's all right.
Like
Just say it.
I know. Okay, not to be too overreactionary.
Yes,
but do you
I think we can beat Barcelona.
No, I'm saying
Sydney United.
no. But wow. But what I'm saying is, do you think with the way in which we're playing, with the way in which we're playing, do you think we have the capacity to beat any team that we come up against? Because in previous seasons, when you watch us play, you sort of go, "How the fuck are we going to win?"
Yes.
When you see the brand of football that we have, and if it continues to improve over the coming weeks.
Okay, if it continues to improve, yes. But at this stage, I'm going to say no. And the reason I'm going to say no at this stage is because, like I did say earlier, this isn't the strongest City. This is probably the weakest City side we've seen.
It was
maybe
pretty piss weak, yeah.
Maybe about 4 or 5 years. And that's not to say they're a bad side. They're not a bad side at all. They had some quality players. Their back line was very, very good. But
the fact that we conceded
four unlucky goals, yes, but it's still 4 goals conceded. And there's very rarely cases in very many cases. No, I'm trying to think of the word. There's not many cases in football where you can look at a goal and say, yeah, that was purely just great play. There was no bad luck. There was no mistakes or anything. Obviously, most goals that you concede involve mistakes or bad luck or stuff like that. So you can't really use it as an excuse.
Well, how many of City's goals were the product of them playing very good?
One.
It was one.
Their first goal.
Yeah.
The first goal.
2 deflections and then
a poor.
So can we?
poor
So can we somewhat credit the
missing.
players for the way in which we defended in elements?
We can.
Yes.
We
And
can, absolutely.
And that is why I say yes to you saying, can we beat anybody? Not necessarily because we're good enough.
Yep.
But also, you got to take into the fact that a lot of the bigger A-League clubs will not field a stronger side.
No.
Whereas I think we've kind of shown that we fielded Taggart for over an hour with extra time. We're going to start fielding a really strong side because we want to win this. I think it's pretty obvious that we want to win this.
Yeah.
When we play against teams like the Mariners, if we do, or the Victory, it would not surprise me if they just go, have half a good team, half a B team.
Victory, I think, will be the toughest team.
100%.
Look, here's the thing.
They're the
Any
to beat.
team on their day can beat any other team.
Exactly.
But it's just about how often we can be on our fucking A game for a game.
Yep.
I'm happy to say, against Brisbane, we were phenomenal. Against Melbourne City today, apart from
In patches, we looked shit.
in patches,
for the
we
rest
looked
of it,
shit.
we looked
But
pretty good.
But it was a very good performance.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that performance.
Yeah.
Against
Yeah.
Armidale, a bit patchy, but that was our first game.
First game.
We've got an entire preseason to go. If we do get a deep cup run, that's 4 more games.
Yeah.
State team, there's probably going to be 2 games down south as well, and then possible other friendlies going on. Look, it's going to be a heavy preseason for us, but with the depth that we have in this squad, I think that's fantastic.
You know what's interesting as well? I saw a bit of a cheeky comment after Sydney FC got knocked out.
Yeah.
No Driller, no Sydney.
Damn.
Like it just makes you wonder.
Yeah.
How much of an impact did David Zrilic have
Yeah.
with the way in which Sydney played under Talay? Because I watched parts of that Sydney game, and I just, apart from hearing Talay yelling like he was in a mental asylum, Sydney looked pretty mid, pretty not expressive, and they weren't pressing in the way that they were last season. And then you see the way in which we play, and there's certainly a bit of a dare in the way in which we play. It sometimes does shit your pants when teams can pass through us, but the way in which we have a crack at teams so far, it's great, and that's what we want to see. And I guess the hope is that we can continue it, because I am conscious of the fact that we might get too caught up in the good results that we've had so far, and then by the time, let's say, round 13 hits and we're going, shit, we can't defend, we're losing too many games.
Yeah.
We might look good going forward, but we're defensively quite poor. Or the other way around, where we've fixed our defensive shit up, but we're struggling to put the ball in the back of the net.
But that's another reason why I'm so happy that we do have so many different profiles of players,
God,
and
that's
so much
really good,
depth,
yeah.
and a coach that's not afraid to make changes when
Correct.
changes need to be made. Apart from that, do we have anything left that we have to discuss here, boys? I think we've covered mostly.
There's just one thing I want to quickly add. Hello.
You're getting excited.
I just want to touch on this with our
I'm scared we're going in circles.
No. This is just something. Just a personal opinion of mine.
Fuck, he's breaking that.
Our fitness levels. We talked about how good they are with the Armidale game. when we watched it, we were. Well, I don't know if it was we. I was kind of concerned about, for example, I thought Risdon looked quite gassed after about 60 minutes.
Yeah.
He looked very tired. We were worried about that. And then the difference from then to tonight, where he put in over 120 minutes of good, not just complacent. He was making tackles and running towards the ball right to the very final whistle.
It was like old school Risen.
Old school Risen. And that's in just a few weeks. Like, just to say how
or
good...
Rizzy as the woman in the
yeah.
crowd.
But how good...
Behind
But
us,
just, but how
yelling,
good is that?
"Come on,
the
Rizzy,
difference
come on,
between
Rizzy."
fitness levels. We haven't seen players giving 100%. Even like, O'Neill until he was subbed off. All these players just giving 100% until they get taken off. How good is that? Because they're capable of doing it too, not because
And
they do it.
Brendan
refreshing.
O'Neill as
Yeah.
well. He put in a good shift.
He put in a
Very
great
solid
shift.
shift. Very
Yeah,
solid.
so good.
One more thing that I do want to mention is the atmosphere tonight, especially
Very
from the Bay, the
Excellent.
young boys.
Shout out, Bay.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Excellent.
Shout out to the Bay. And if you want to see more of those scenes, you can go over to the Back Four Podcast YouTube channel where you'll see my match day vlog. But apart from that, boys, I think we've covered pretty much everything. A
Wait.
massive result tonight.
Wait,
Oh,
man of the match for everybody. Go.
wait, what? Oh, man of the match.
Everyone's man of the match. Obviously, I said mine was Risdon.
I've got like 3.
Go on, Josh.
Zach, Josh, and
Terrace. Gamulka.
no, I've got like 4. Nah, Blair and Faisal.
Not the guy who got 4 assists.
Look,
Gamulka's 1, but like
you got 5 man of the match.
Yeah.
I'm gonna split it between 2.
Yeah.
Taras
Yeah.
and Zach.
Okay, as much as I want, I'm going to give massive credit to guys like Faisal, had a brilliant first half.
Bagaraja.
Bagaraja. Blair, Risdon, Lizzo. But overall, you have to give man of the match to Taras Gamulka.
Well done.
The man that played as a 10 today against his former club, Melbourne City, and got 4 assists being a natural 6.
Makes Ruben look like a really good coach.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Great job not playing him last season, you clown.
Apart from that, lads, that's going to be the end of the episode. Thank you so much for joining us in for episode 9 of the Shannon Podcast. Next episode, number 10, is going to be a very special one. We will be joined by David Zrilich. Thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you later.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.